Yo, what's good? Welcome to another installment of my underrated fights series. Paying tribute to fights that are great, in my opinion, classic fights, but aren't usually talked about when we mention great fights like Hagler Hearns, like Gotti Ward, or Barrera Morales. Today, I'm going to talk about Vassiliy Jirov. Start off with him because he was a cruiserweight champion at the time versus James Toney. A little background on Vassiliy Jirov. He was a Olympic gold medalist in the Atlanta Games in 1996. Being brought up, and he was a heavy favorite in this match. In fact, he had been bulldozing over guys. He was undefeated. Just a second. He had a 31-0 record with many, like something like 27 or 25 knockouts. So he had a high knockout percentage. He's Russian. They call him the Russian Tiger. He was a bad man, and you can see it from this fight. And James Toney needs no introduction. He, this was like his 70th fight or something like that. He had already fought Roy Jones, Michael Nunn, Montel Griffin, Mike McCallum. So a who's who in that era, So coming into this fight, you're like, all right. They predicted, I guess, Copybox predicted that that Toney was gonna edge this fight, like by 1 or 2 points in a brilliant fight, and that's what it was. Brilliant fight, man. Throughout the fight, Jirov brought the pressure, man. Body shots, head. He threw 1,000. Watch this visual right here. He threw 1,032 punches, man. He threw so much, but it was James Toney winning this fight with his accuracy. But round through round, the Jirov would just pressure this guy, throw like 100 punches, over 100 punches through round. I remember in round 2. He threw 103 punches. Already starting in round 2. But it was Toney with this stupendous defense, man. Beautiful. I cannot praise James Toney enough, man. I think James Toney is one of the GOATs, regardless. But if he had had discipline, man, I think he could have been greater than Roy Jones. But that's just my opinion. But enough of that. Talking about this fight. This fight was very entertaining, man. Like I said, you got Jirov pressuring, banging, trying to bang the body, trying to hit James Toney, but James Toney with this beautiful shoulder roll. You want to know where Mayweather gets his shoulder roll from? It ain't from Senior, man. It ain't from Uncle Roger. It's from this man right here, James Toney. Except James Toney is a little bit more exciting. A lot more exciting. He's a lot more exciting and more offensive and tries to knock people out. But you see Jirov just pressuring, trying to land blows, throwing at all costs, no defense, no head movement, just coming forward. And James Toney just teeing off when he finds opening. Like, he threw a lot. 800 punches in a fight is a lot to throw, man. So you just see that teeing off on uppercuts, left hooks, right hooks, straight right hands. By like the 5th round, he already had him cut. And I think it was the 5th round, or it was early in the fight. Vassiliy Jirov threw a big low blow. And it was really low. Steve Smoker's like, hey, man, next. Oh, I'm sorry. There's going to be spoilers. If you don't watch the other one, there's going to be spoilers, definitely. So watch this fight. Go and watch this fight now, because it's a very good fight. It's worth a watch. At least one. But he warned them, you do that again, I'm going to take a point off. By round 8, he did it again. And so they took a point off. I give it a 9-9 because I thought Vassiliy Jirov won that round. With what else? With his activity, with his higher work rate. That's all he tried to do. He tried to outwork and outmuscle because he was a bigger guy. I think he came in like at 188 and Toney came in at 180. So he was a taller guy, definitely, and tried to push Toney into the ropes. But his shots just weren't landing as cleanly, because how are you gonna hit James Toney cleanly? You can't. You just can't. He's just that damn good. Comes the 11th and 12th, Vassiliy is just putting the pressure, just trying to. But that's putting more openings for James Toney, man, to land that uppercut, to land that right. And then at the end of the 11th, you just see, okay, this guy might be hurt. Last round came. It's funny because he was being trained by Freddie Roach. Before the 12th round, Freddie Roach was like, hey, you got to put this guy on his ass. You just hear Toney go, fuck. He's like, you got to win this. Fuck. But James Toney knew, like, he wanted to close the show, even though he thought he was winning, and he clearly was, because the judges gave Jirov like 3 rounds and 4 rounds. So the judges didn't have it close, but people on ringside, Harold Letterman had it really close. He actually scored it a draw. But what does James Toney do? He closes like a champion should. He goes in this round, hits Jirov with a huge left hook that buckles him. But Jirov, like the madman that he is, just keeps standing right in front of him, keeps throwing, hits him with another, he keeps throwing, hits him with a few left hooks, and it was a right hand that hurt him, and he still didn't go down, but he was like bent down. He just hit him with another, like, it was like an uppercut type of shot, and he just drops with like 30 seconds left, but he gets up, and Toney just couldn't finish. So this is a spectacular fight. It was in 2003. I highly recommend you watch it. Very underrated. 2003 was the year that Gotti War 3 took place. So that one fight of the year. But honestly, I think that this fight is better. And I do not think I'm overselling this fight. I think that this fight was better than Gotti War 3. It wasn't better than Gotti War 1. But I think this fight should have won the Ring Magazine Fight of the Year for 2003. So, yeah, go and watch this fight. It's very interesting. You see these stats, man. This is just incredible. 1,032 punches thrown by Jirov, 800 thrown by James Toney. But you see the better defense. You see more punches landed by James Toney. He landed 47%. That's a huge connect rate. And Jirov only landed 24%. So you see the accuracy of the punches. Even though Jirov was a more active and the guy that had Toney on the ropes for most part of the fight, James Toney was the one teeing off with the harder shots, the cleaner punches. So, yeah, definitely recommend watching the fight. Does not get the respect that I believe it should. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. What are some underrated fights that you could remember that don't get enough credit when people are talking about boxing? And